welcome to the End-to-End podcast, the very first podcast of the End-to-End series. I'm your co-host, Jonathon Howe, and with me is my other co-host, Eric Moss.
Hi, guys. It's our pilot episode, if you will.
Yeah, pilot episode of the podcast. So let's just talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing here today. It's mostly going to be a sports podcast. We'll probably touch on, pop culture, stuff that happens here and there, but this is going to be sports-based.
We're going to talk mostly about hockey, the NHL, but also, about all the other big four sports, as well as Jonathon here. He's a big motorsports guy.
Yeah, this is true.
Big motorsports guy. So he's going to be talking about that. We're going to have actually a pretty cool segment each and every episode for Howe there.
I had to take this time to on the big networks. There's not a lot of coverage and in-depth coverage for motorsports. And usually you just get highlights of some guy hitting the wall and maybe whoever crosses the checkered flag. That's about it. So I wanted to take a minute or two and just try to get through a couple bigger stories and. We'll see how that works out for us.
Yeah, we're still not giving you much time. We're giving you 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute, start, done, completed, checkered flag.
All right, yeah.
Maybe a horn or something to end it. I don't know. Can't really wave a checkered flag. It's
just
not
give me a
video
timer.
Podcast.
Just give it a 60-second timer, and we'll see what I can squeeze in there. But you want to start with the NHL?
Yeah. Let's start with the NHL. A couple big contract signings just took place the past couple days here. One that's big, close for me, David Pastrnak.
Yeah, your boy, your fantasy hockey, your keeper.
Fantasy hockey keeper. Not too happy that he's my keeper, but he's my keeper. I had a lot of depth last year, and I didn't have much top end guys, but Tyler Seguin and David Pastrnak are my two keepers. But yeah, Pastrnak signed 6 years, $40 million. It's a pretty good deal for Boston. They waited him out, and it seemed to pay off. They got him signed and everything before the year, and it's a pretty good deal for him. He's a pretty good player.
I think the thing to think about always with any signing at this point now, because we've got guys looming. Yeah, obviously McDavid and Draisaitl were the two big free agents or restricted free agents to get their deals done this summer, but obviously we're close to the Toronto market. All we're hearing about is William Nylander, who is eligible to start negotiating and signing a contract, and what's coming for Mitch Marner and obviously Austin Matthews coming. I don't think this deal is going to really have any impact on a guy like Matthews. Maybe not even a guy like William Nylander, but maybe Mitch Marner. You think we're looking at comparable for Mitch Marner, or you think Mitch Marner is going to be, past what Pastrnak, past what some of these other guys have been signing for this summer?
No, I think that Pastrnak, it's at about 6 2/3 million per year. So I think that's probably what comparable to Mitch Marner there. Matthews is totally out of that realm. He's over. He's under McDavid. Yeah, he's under McDavid definitely, but he's over Draisaitl on comparatives there. And then Nylander, I could see him being at a Draisaitl. That guy had a great year last year, and he kind of went under the radar too. Everybody was talking about the other two, and he just came out of nowhere, and he had a huge year, just a huge year.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those. It's got to be one of those situations where it's an embarrassment of riches, and how do you manage that, right?
Oh yeah.
To sit there and have these guys putting up the kind of points they're doing right off the hop, yeah, it's great, but this is the problem with it, right? You got to pay. We're gonna have to start paying somebody, and I don't know if you can really get through all three of those guys. Can you really justify $22 million in your cap space for those three guys?
Well, and then you also got the back end. You got what's his face, Jake Gardiner. You got Morgan Riley. You got Zaitsev. You got
Ron Hainsey was their big defensive acquisition, which you can't knock the guy. He was playing top line minutes for Pittsburgh on a Stanley Cup winning team, but
they also had no defensemen on that team. Their forwards had to play real strong defensive hockey in that Stanley Cup final to actually get anything done, because that was a bare bones top six. That was a bare bones decor. They had, like you said, Ron Hainsey isn't a.
I mean, the
number
minute you
two
eliminate
defenseman.
Letang from that defense, it just is automatically a.
Well, you can just write him off for 40 games at the start of each year because he's going to miss that many due to some injury.
Jeez. Just
Guy,
it's
when
got
was the last
Steven
time he played
Stamkos syndrome.
Oh my gosh, when was the last time he even played a full year in the NHL?
You
Has
know, well, I don't know. That's actually worth. It's worth looking into, especially like we've got our fantasy hockey draft coming up, and the way things are going. Like obviously, I made a big deal last year to get rid of Steven Stamkos because
that was I don't know what you were thinking.
I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't. We've been in this league the past 3 seasons, and every season he's gotten hurt. It's just killing me.
Yeah, you traded away a first-round draft pick with him too.
Okay, but let's hang on. Let's pump the brakes here. You got to break down the trade for what it's worth. First of all, that first overall pick or that first round pick was basically for Mark Scheifele, who I am expecting can only go up. I don't think last year was his peak. I think he's still got more in him to show, and he's younger and healthier than Stamkos. So then,
I can't believe you're comparing Scheifele to Stamkos. They're on 2 different stratospheres.
Yeah, one's healthy, one's not.
One's also a top player in the NHL.
But what have you done for me lately? It's fantasy hockey. It's about what have you done for me lately? You know that. You know the way this league works.
Yeah, I have the most acquisitions each year.
If you're talking about actually building a franchise and who I want playing on my top line, yeah, you know what? I'm probably going to pick Stamkos even still because
he's Steven Stamkos.
He's a once-in-a-lifetime player.
So basically what you're saying, you traded a once-in-a-lifetime player for some average Joe who's pretty good.
You can't say... Okay, hang on.
And you traded away your first-round pick this year. Wow.
Scheifele is not a
You should have called me when you were looking to make that trade.
No.
Wow. No. I would have only taken a second and Stamkos off of you.
No. Scheifele is a little more than just someone who's a little bit good. And we got to keep in mind this is fantasy hockey. Fantasy hockey is about what have you done for me lately? What has Stamkos done for me? He started off great last year. There's no doubt that he can't do that again. But it's just his health is not.
You pulled
on
trigger
his
too
side.
early, bud. You pulled trig. And yeah, I don't know if that was the right move.
Well, we're gonna find out. But I mean, when you want to talk about, Mark Scheifele, he came 7th in scoring last year.
Yeah, 1 year.
He had 82 points.
Okay, check out every other season of him. He's been an average player. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong.
He's 24. He's played 306 games in the NHL. What do you want from the guy?
How many has Stamkos played? 600. A bit better every year.
But what have you done for me lately?
His points per game is way better than Scheifele.
I don't know, man. I can't.
That was Scheifele's first point per game season?
34, 49, 61. He had 61 and 71 in the year before. That's not bad.
Oh, it's not bad. Stamkos had better, though.
No, he did. Well, yeah, points per game, but he didn't play.
Yeah, that's fine. Then you get to use his roster spot on somebody else. You can pick up Michael Granlund on waivers or something like I did.
Yeah, those Minnesota guys were sneaky good. About halfway
I had
through the year.
4 of them.
Yeah, and
until they went on a cold streak when I went to the playoffs.
You meter rider, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I was really in full-blown rebuild mode.
Yeah, and then you tried to buy 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I don't know what.
That was a good one. I did the same thing, though. I sold halfway through the year, got all these draft picks, and started buying, and still made a push in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you ended up with 5 in the first, 3 rounds? 2 rounds?
5 in the first...
First 2?
3, technically. 3.
First 3.
Yeah, first 3.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
okay. We'll
see how that plays out for me. Draft is coming up next Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, next Saturday, the 23rd.
All right. Well, we'll see how that plays out. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps up. Is that about it? I mean.
Yeah,
NHL's it's quiet time still, right? Camp's just opening.
Camp's starting up. Apparently, Chara just blew out every other person on the Bruins in terms of his pull-up number. I didn't even end up reading how many, but apparently he blew everybody else on his team out.
I mean, the guy's
but he's 40.
Bear.
Yeah, but he's 40.
Yeah,
the guy should be retired.
You would think, but I mean, Yager's still out there looking for a deal, but
I heard Yager apparently he's going to be playing in Europe for the first part of the year, playing the Olympics, and then he's looking for a contract after the Olympics. That was the last word I heard on him, which isn't a bad idea if he wants to play for his country one last time.
well, that's why
He could
I'm
probably
not sure.
play in like 3 Olympics down for the Czech Republic, but like
Why not? You know what I mean? Like for the amount of guys that like are looking for contracts, like you got a guy like Jerome McGinley. Why not? Why not play for Team Canada?
Oh yeah, I know absolutely. There's a few guys.
Shane
like
Donor. I know, like I heard he's really trying to walk away from the game altogether, but it's not like these guys can sit around for 3 months and then just jump on a plane in January and expect to be in game shape. But still, I mean, why not? I can't see why you wouldn't want to. Why you wouldn't want to
play for Canada? Again?
play for Canada, play on the world stage? You have this opportunity, right?
Yeah, one last kick at the can. You can play with a bunch of like junior players or whoever else they fill their team out with, European guys from like the
See, that would be an
Swedish
interesting situation. Is if we can take junior players.
Yeah, I believe the last words I heard on that were they were looking at the Swedish Elite League and all those European leagues they were pulling players from. And a lot of those guys have played in the NHL a few years back and just kind of like burned out and never really got anything going and got paid big bucks to move over to Europe. Those European teams pay pretty well, especially compared to like an AHL or an ECHL type of contract. They don't pay real well. So those European guys, and that's the same ice surface they're gonna be playing on in the Olympics, right? Where's the Olympics?
They're in South Korea.
South Korea, yeah. I don't know how South Korea has a Winter Olympics, but they do, and
Yeah,
it's going to be on a
there.
European ice or international ice surface. So those guys are already accustomed to it. So I think going with like the younger legs, that's where it might be a bit more difficult for these older guys. It's keeping up with the speed of the game. Shane Doan, Jerome McGinley. By the end of it, they weren't the fastest guys on the rink anymore. They're still in pretty good shape, but they're getting up there in age. They got to think the game a bit better, and with that bigger ice surface, it makes speed a real killer. I'd love to see like a guy like McDavid playing on a massive ice surface like that. Like all these teams nowadays are just setting up the trap and kind of just really killing any speed game that people can get going through the neutral zone. He still does it, but teams play it really well. But just I'd love to watch him on an international ice surface like that.
Well, that was the thing he brought up. I believe he was asked in Oilers pre-camp media, if there's one rule he could institute or one thing he could take away from the game, one major change to make the game, he wants to eliminate the trap game.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't understand how you really eliminate it. Like, you can't. What are you gonna call delay of game for every time the guys line up 2-1-2 in the neutral zone?
Yeah, I don't. It's difficult how to take that out, but no, it'd be a lot more exciting because now it's just you don't.
It's
even
stopping
really
the rush.
Yeah, you don't get to watch the players play. That's what people come to the game for. Nobody wants to go to a game to watch the coaches coach a game. Like you go to watch the players and watch the entertainment factor. That's why like a 5-4 game's a lot more entertaining than a 1-0 game. It's although 1-0 games can be entertaining if the goalie's standing on his head, but that's because offense is still firing, right? Nobody gets real too excited about a takeaway in the neutral zone and then a dump and chase, and it's just boring hockey, right? So
I think in the name of entertainment, you got to look at Jack Eichel was approached with the same question or same kind of concept. If there was something he could change about the game, what would he do? And he was he's a total anarchist like some of us, and saying why not just eliminate offsides altogether and have guys be able to float down on the end, and you want to huck up a 200-foot pass to a guy and he's all alone, go for it. And to an extent, I think that it would be really interesting to see, because I think to have no offside is to have total anarchy on the ice, and that in total anarchy will just result in mistakes, which results in more scoring, which results in more offense. But at the same time, it gives these guys with speed and skill to really show it off, because they don't have to worry about, I gotta make sure I'm on side with my other players. I gotta make sure if you're a winger and you can deke, why not sit at the dots, wait for that pass, and just absolutely shred the goalie if you can.
You can already wait at the face-off circle in the neutral zone there. Just wait for it, get your pass, and go.
But the way with how fast these guys are playing and the speed of the game, the closing rates are just so short now. And you could wait at the red line, wait for that pass, wait for the center ice pass, and just try to break out. But you're gonna get caught by the time you get a chance to deke on the goalie, for the most part, unless you're Connor McDavid. But McDavid, if you're a centerman, you kind of have that responsibility to be back in your own zone too. So,
well, you wouldn't really have to if the other team's just sticking one or two of their guys in your end. You're doing the same thing in the other team's end. It's gonna be like a 5-on-3 power play every single minute of the game.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right?
And speed's not even a factor. Just throw the puck down to the other side of the ice, and I got Jimmy down there. Perfect.
Now the real chaos would be if you just eliminate icing and offside altogether, and you just got guys. Well, as soon as you get the puck, you're just heaving it up the glass.
If you eliminated offside, the icing would be irrelevant because you just have Buddy standing down beside the other team's net.
Yeah, you would hope that he could still stop a pass every once in a while,
But it's not an international icing rule where it crosses the red line and or crosses the goal or the end line there and it's blown dead. The other guy's still got to beat him to the face-off dot going back, but he's already down below the other team's net. Guy could lose both his blades on his skates and still get there if he's standing down there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Eichel's just an anarchist, just getting rid of anything that's good with the game. But if you got rid of offsides, there'd be no reviews on that anymore. That's like the most exciting part of the game.
That would be the best part.
Just sitting there watching the linesman blow a call and wasting 6 minutes of your time watching this, and
they gotta figure something out.
Did the guy's skate come off the ice? Did it not? I don't know. Was he over the blue line? It was close to tell. Let's spend 7 minutes watching this.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the thing to talk about too, with the change in the ability to challenge, right? This year we got you're actually taking a penalty now. You're not just losing a timeout if you lose your challenge.
I like that.
Yeah, it's gonna make these guys think twice. These coaches think twice about challenging on a play that's close.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, most of these plays, sure, the initial play is offside, but they cycle it 1 or 2 or 3 times, and then there's a scoring play, and they're still challenging. And it's like you can't blame the officials because your team's making mistakes. If it's a blatant, I think it was Matt Duchene in the playoffs that got he was 6 feet over the line and got. That stuff, that's what this rule's there for. But the idea that you can just sit there and challenge a minute or 30 seconds or whatever after the play has happened.
Yeah, well, it was basically a free timeout for him. And then, if it was close, you call it, it's like a timeout. If you're wrong, whatever, you get charged your timeout like last year, right? If you're right, perfect. You still keep your timeout and your guys are rested.
Regular season, there's almost nothing to lose.
Exactly.
So, that kind of wraps up the NHL story right now.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the NFL?
Yeah, sure. Big first week in the NFL. My Patriots, they lost. That sucked. I was at the bar, though. I didn't really watch the game.
Yeah, no, I watched the whole game at the bar.
Watched the first half. It was great, the first half. And I checked the box score in the morning, and that fourth quarter didn't really pan out. Truth be told, I'm not a massive Patriots fan. I'm not sitting at the bar the entire night watching the game. I wanted to go to sleep instead. So, not a big, but I like cheering for him. I like Tom Brady, pretty boy Tom Brady, greatest of all time. So,
I like excellence, and for better or worse, you can't deny that the Patriots have had excellence in the last decade plus. It's really unbelievable, and all this talk of 16-0 and 19-0 this year. I think, from a fan standpoint, it's a little bit of a panic because Kansas City was supposed to be a beatable team. I mean, I think they're still a great team on paper, and they still have a chance. But to do
talking about Kansas City actually going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, let's pump the brakes on that. Yeah. It's 1 week. We can't sit here and say what's wrong with the Patriots and at the same time crown the Kansas City Chiefs. It's 1 week.
Football. It's 1 week.
When there's 7 days to talk about the same story, the same game we all watched.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm not too worried about the Pats yet.
No, I'm not either. They're gonna go 15-1.
Maybe, you never know, man.
Yeah, right.
I
Just
mean,
lose the first one, get that loss out of the
the
way.
Bills
early,
are
and then
leading their division right now, so I don't think the Bills are going to be a team that gets very far out ahead of anybody.
Well, this is the first year the Jaguars have been over 500 in 6 years, so you know.
Oh god.
Small victories for some teams out there, right? Like the
How
Bills,
about,
the Jags. Small victories.
I gotta
Even
love.
though they go 1-15 for the rest of the year, the Jags, but like it's you got that
poor
one win.
Jacksonville.
They got that one win, right? So their helmets are weird too.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
There's a whole
they
bunch
try
of
to
weird things. It's
rebranding.
Florida, man. I don't want to sit here and rip on Florida. Your
Well,
weather's lovely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
no, that's not. No,
Wow.
that's not what I mean.
You might want to cut that one out.
Nah,
Wow.
we're gonna leave that one in. Yeah, it's still. Never mind Jacksonville. I think we gotta talk about the mess that is the Cleveland Browns again, and they're a mess. But like some of the stats that come out about teams that are just a complete tire fire and franchises that are just a tire fire for so long. I think it was Pittsburgh that was in town this week, and they were talking about now that in the city of Cleveland, in the Cleveland Browns stadium, Ben Roethlisberger has more wins than any quarterback that has started in the last 12 seasons or something like that, or the last
At
12
that stadium, yeah.
12 quarterbacks that they've been through at that stadium.
That's pretty funny.
They're
a mess, but what's Kaiser's the guy they got now?
Yeah, I don't even know. There's
Apparently he didn't play that bad.
I don't think they're that bad of a team this year. Actually,
They're
I've
horrible.
heard.
They're the Cleveland Browns.
No, I don't know though. I've heard like they're actually finally starting to turn around, and there's some hope on the defensive end of the ball. But yeah, no, they're kind of a mess too. Well, Johnny Manziel, that didn't really pan out for him.
He went to
that was a story. Let's get some CanCon in here and talk about CFL.
Some what?
CanCon, Canadian content.
Wow, we were just talking about hockey.
Yeah,
that's all Canadian content, other than the Boston Bruins and all the other teams that we talked about that aren't in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. But, Jack Eichel, American player.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you sit there and look at it's the CFL, and we got Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, well,
and his agent demanding that either the Ticats gotta sign him, trade him, or give up his rights altogether because this guy's clearly looking for a deal in the CFL, and you got to think if the agent's pressing this hard and to actually get something happening in the next 10 days, there's got to be something out there. There's got to be a team that's called them and said, or watched that Hamilton workout and said, you know what, we could use them.
Yeah, well, I just find it funny that Hamilton says, yeah, you know what, Johnny Manziel comes with a lot of baggage. We don't really want him. It's just not a right fit for our organization, right? That was kind of, I guess, the reason they didn't want to go forward with signing him. And then they go around the next day and they sign that coach who was,
Bryles?
it was down in Oregon, and with all those allegations against him in the football team
not
there.
Baylor.
Baylor. That's it. Baylor. Sorry about that, Baylor. Yeah. And I love how they go and sign him. He's a good fit for the organization there, right?
There's a whole bunch of controversy in Hammertown this year.
Wow,
they just win their first game on Labor Day, right? Labor Day Classic took them 9 weeks, 8 weeks.
When it takes you till Labor Day to win a football game in the NFL, that's fantastic. Wow.
Okay, if you're playing before then.
Yeah, right. You at least won one preseason game or two. But, CFL, if your first wins at Labor Day, you got some bigger fish to fry than... Yeah, you got...
There's a lot of teams in the East that got some fish to fry. Toronto's they're in a little bit of trouble. We got a little bit of an aging quarterback. I love Ricky Ray, and I loved watching him play, but...
I don't know how they still have a team there. I get they've been around for a long time, but they can't even, sell tickets for that.
Oh, wow.
They can't...
Torturing them.
Well, they can't even put fans in the seats. If you go west, those stadiums are packed all the time. They're 50-50s out there, just so...
Okay, you're talking about going out west. We're talking about Saskatchewan.
Okay, Hamilton's
we're talking about Edmonton. We're talking about Calgary.
Yeah.
We're talking about BC. The
There's not much to do
Edmonton,
there, but still.
In summertime, Edmonton and the Eskimos were always the biggest deal. In Saskatchewan, that's what they got. Toronto, the Argos are competing against the Jays, against
Toronto
Nightlife, the
Well-
Toronto FC, who are just beyond belief good this year.
Yeah, I know nothing about soccer, but they seem pretty good.
I mean, they're in
This
contention.
Javinko guy, I'm taller than him, and that's pretty difficult to beat. But
yeah,
I'm taller. Than him.
It's unbelievable.
He's good though. He's a good.
That's
player.
kind of the thing that you would think a team as good as the TFC is, not to jump right off the NFL and CFL trains and transition to something, but if we're talking about the TFC, you got a Toronto team who is in contention to break a league record for points accumulated. And they still got plenty of time to do it. It's not like, oh, we're closing in on like the last weekend or something. They got the chance to like really do it and put a new number up that's going to be hard to beat. And I still feel like there's nobody talking about them.
Yeah, well, everybody's still talking about the Jays because, I don't know, they've been around a lot longer than TFC, right? And, I don't know, just boys. It's the summertime sport there is baseball, right? So everybody wants to talk about that over TFC, but still, apparently the TFC atmosphere going to a games, you can't beat it. I've never been, but you can't beat that.
That's definitely something to look forward to. It's definitely on my sports bucket list to attend.
Soccer match.
Well, even a TFC match because, I mean, it's Toronto. I can get behind a hometown crowd, even though, I mean, I look south of the border for my hockey team. I mean, you got Edmonton out west, but, you know, close to me, I chose Buffalo as my home team, not Toronto. But,
I love how you have two favorite teams in the NHL.
Okay, we've talked about this. I think in every sport you got to have two favorite teams, and it's got to be on if you got two different conferences or two different leagues like in baseball, you can split it up. And then you know what? They both make the championship. You are the ultimate winner, or they one of them makes the championship, or one of them makes the playoffs. You still got a reason to cheer.
It's like hedging your bets. I like them, but I also like them. They got a shot of winning this year.
Yeah, but who cares?
It's like, I like the Cleveland Browns. I also like the Patriots, though. They're pretty good.
Well, it's not like I'm cheering for the Bills and the Patriots, who are going to play each other 2 times out of 16 weeks and who are in the same division competing for something. You know, Buffalo and Edmonton play twice all year.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about it. It's not a conflict. It's not that big of a conflict.
Wow. I don't know about that. That's like saying, I like the Yankees and I like the Mets. They don't play in the same league, so it's fine, right?
Why not? If you
like the Yankees and the Mets, you're either Yankees or Mets. It's saying you like the White Sox and Cubs. You can't do it. You can't like two teams in the same league.
Okay, that's different too because you're talking the same city. If you're talking the same city, obviously you can't cheer for. You either got to be one or the other in your own city. But speaking of baseball, we got to talk about
beer league softball. The Keg
all right,
softball
we're gonna go
team.
there first. All right, I love
Wow,
it.
we are like What? Wow, distracted very easily. Did you get that?
Yeah, no, I got it.
You didn't laugh though.
I didn't need to laugh. You're just scrolling through the old
swiper machine.
The old swiper machine over there. Jesus.
Left, right.
Left, right, left.
Oh, you got high standards.
Yo, yeah. Okay. Says you.
Yeah.
So this section's for the boys. Moss and I are members of the Keg softball team of the Niagara Regional Sports Regency League. And if you want to follow that on
the Instagram machine, it's
the
at
Instagram
Keg
machine.
Softball.
At Keg Softball, yes. We got our hero of the night, who has been the main poster on that account lately. But we gotta give a special shout out to Roberto Gallo, hitting the game-winning single in a walk-off fashion.
Big walk-off.
Big walk-off win. We ended took our home field advantage and used it to score 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, and got the W. It was unbelievable. And I mean, Moss and I are also co-ed champions from our Wednesday night league.
Back-to-back nights.
Back-to-back big 2 championship rings.
We even got trophies for both. Notice the co-ed trophy was bigger than the men's league trophy, which I didn't really get, but that is true. Also a fact. But yeah, it's great to know that because you won 2 championships and you can compare the two.
Yeah. I mean, like I feel like we had to work
A lot harder for Kegs. We had to work a lot harder for that men's
ultimately.
league one.
Ultimately, we did in the end. But the way we played through the regular season, I kind of felt like we were on coast.
Oh yeah,
We're what 11-2
yeah, it
for
was
the
some
regular season.
ridiculous number like that, and our batting was just on fire. We only had one guy batting below 500. You were tight to that number. You were pretty close to 500.
I stayed above it. I stayed above it.
You know, Dylan Pietrangelo, our third baseman, started the year horrendous, batting about 200 at one point, playing just airs every game at third. Ended up turning it around by the
bus. He was driving a struggle bus.
Turned it around by the end of the year. Got up into the top half of the lineup. Started really batting real well. Turning a lot of he actually made a couple double plays there in the finals too, right?
Yeah, the championship game we had that big double play. I had that big catch at the foul tip. That was just an instant reaction. I didn't even. I think it was Pete or Keenan
too.
Well, it was Pete or Keenan, the twins that called it, and they screamed, and I was like, "Oh wait, yeah, that counts as an out." I just realized.
Yeah, you didn't even instinct. You were like clapping your glove like open and close, and you're like, "Do I have it? Do I have it?" And I'm sitting there on the bench, like I got benched that inning. That's how bad I played. But was sitting there riding pine, getting.
Well, the best if it was popped back and up in the air, the fact that it was just fouled right back at my chest, and I just caught it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is."
That's the best ones.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise. That was, I think, the second one I had for the year.
Yeah,
it wasn't a play I'm used to, but that was fun. Definitely got to give a big shout out to a co-ed and Wednesday, our Thursday night men's league team player, Brandon McDowell.
Oh yeah,
he had a hell of a couple hits.
Yeah.
Really kicked things off in that last inning to get the boys rolling. Matty Milne had a big play to advance some runners, even though it was a line drive out. Some great running by Brandon to score and tie the game, and as soon as that happened, I just had this weight lift off my shoulders because we weren't trailing anymore, and I knew that if it went to extras, we could get it done. We could use that home field advantage.
Yeah.
But luckily we didn't even need to. We just got the W, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
So congrats to the boys.
Yeah.
Hope y'all have a great off season. We'll see you spring 2018.
Yeah, spring training.
Spring training. We're gonna head down to Dunedin, Florida.
Nope, we're probably heading down to Chippewa.
Oh, we're gonna head to Chippewa.
Yeah.
The
we're still going south, but not that far. Not that far.
Oh, okay. Well,
we're on a budget here. Now it's beer league softball, not the majors.
But we got 2K Instagram followers, man. It's gotta pay off. We gotta start selling ad space or something.
We did. We had sponsors.
Yeah, but I'm on the Instagram page. Why not? You can get a little feature going.
Well, our team captain's got to get that sorted out.
Yeah,
it's not
team
like
captain.
anybody on the team's worked in sports before.
No, definitely not. Definitely not my co-host. He has definitely never worked in sports.
Never worked in sports before.
No, yeah, I don't know what's
not in sales either.
Nope.
But
that's. Anyways, so let's talk about some real baseball, not softball, real baseball, which I had to apparently that's a big thing. I can't just call softball baseball, as a few friends pointed out that it's not the same thing.
It's not the same.
I don't know. If I told people that I'm going to baseball on a Thursday night, they usually know I'm going to men's league softball. But what?
Yeah, I don't think not too many people play after you play minor baseball.
Yeah, it's not
unless you're going to the pros or college. You're probably not playing baseball. It's most likely softball.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird how that drops off. But I guess there's no point in throwing 75 miles an hour for fun. If you can.
If you can, you can. I can't.
Dude, if I threw it 45 miles an hour, I'd be impressed with myself. But you want to talk about guys who can throw some hard pitches. Let's talk about that Cleveland Indians team right now. Corey Kluber just rolling. Those boys are up to
I think the whole team's rolling. They're at 22, I believe, right now.
Well, the pitching staff's definitely doing their end, and they're definitely getting some offensive supports.
Oh, yeah.
22 in a row heading into tonight against Kansas City. I think Kansas City has the potential to end this streak.
Yeah, watch by the time we put this up, Kansas City ends it.
Oh, probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna wake
100%.
up tomorrow morning. I'll just hypothetically. It's 9:30 on a Friday night. Let's just
we got nothing better to do. Follow us on our Twitter, end2 end podcast. That's at end2 end podcast.
So like, do we have to put the like hashtag number 2, or is it? Oh, it's just a 2, just a 2.
No, it's like just a 2.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Like the number 2.
I'm just being a smartass.
I know.
And I'm getting a live scoring update. And bottom of 7, Kansas City's 4-3, up on Cleveland by 1. I still have faith Cleveland can get it done. I mean,
I don't.
It was 2-1 heading into the 8th or 9th inning last night, and they still got it done.
Yeah, I think they've gotten close so many times. I don't think they can really.
They'd like
they keep going to the well. I don't think there's much water left in there for comebacks.
Yeah, they like to dance on the edge for sure.
Oh yeah.
But that's usually how these streaks work. Even like Columbus, right? It's not like Columbus was just dummying teams when they went on their big run in the NHL this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely in the last 10 or so, 5 or so of those games, they've been definitely cutting it close.
Oh yeah, they've been cutting it close. Although it was crazy a couple games ago. I think it was when they set the record in that record-winning game. They were down in like the first inning or something like that, and it was the second time throughout that streak that they were actually trailing at any point in the game. I read that. I don't even know if I believe it. That's so crazy that over 20 games, like you were trailing twice throughout that span. Like that's like keg softball numbers right there.
that's total team domination.
Yeah, total team domination.
And coming from a team that was at one point the hottest team in baseball, and now finally kind of seeming to be breaking out a little bit again, the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's still unbelievable to me. Their July was just insane, and the fact that they can lose 13 games in a row, 14 games in a row, and still be up 12 on the next team.
And that team's pretty good too. They'd be winning almost any other division.
Yeah, Arizona's running away from everybody else in that division.
Yeah.
But
good thing there's 2 wild cards now for the NL.
Jesus,
because Arizona's got that first wild card just locked up.
Baseball is a very traditional sport, and it's always weird seeing changes. But I'm definitely always for as many teams as you can put in the playoffs. Put them in. I would love to see maybe 2 teams from each division make it, and 2 wild cards.
Wow.
But
like a team that's like 500 in the playoffs. It's gonna be like basketball in the East. We had a losing season and we made the playoffs and we finished 5th. What?
No, but
almost got home court advantage by losing the season. Crazy.
But okay, so what's wrong with that though? Baseball, it's practically a tournament, especially if you're only playing. If you played the first round and if it was a best of 3, and you had 1 playing the last seeded wild card, and you had 2 playing the second seeded wild card, in the NL and the AL, and it was just a 3-game series. Why not? Why not?
Well, because baseball, it's a 162-game season. It just gets rid of the whole point of the season. Like, why play it?
Why play 162 games anyways? That's what I'm saying.
Because you can sell a lot of tickets.
Because money.
Money. Why do they have the playoffs? I feel like you could just get rid of the playoffs in baseball. And whoever wins the regular season wins the, Commissioner's Trophy or whatever the winning the pennant is.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, just play the season. Whoever best record at the end of the year.
Okay, but then you got to rejig the schedule so that every team plays everybody at least once, or twice, I guess, because you want to have a home and away at least.
Yeah.
Because right now, like, you can have teams that haven't played in what? I mean, Toronto and Chicago. What? Toronto, the Blue Jays hadn't been in
those 17 years. I was at that one of those games.
Yeah, the Cubs, right?
They lost. Well, the Jays did. Sorry. Well, they got swept that series.
That's what the Jays are doing these days, is losing.
Yeah.
But that's, again, that is what it is. You can call it bad luck. You can call it bad preparation of the season. You can call it bad off-season mistakes. Ultimately, when you have as many injuries as early as they did, how else are you going to recover? They started 2-11. This season over after the first 15 games? Did we know that?
Well, over 162 games, if you go 2-11 at some point, you'll be fine if you can play 500, like, to actually play a regular normal season after that.
Just starting the year though, it just seems like
it's
such a hole.
demoralizing.
It's such a hole to dig out of.
Well, yeah, and then when your ace misses the entire year with a blister, you know you got it.
And Donaldson, I mean, the guy thrives off his legs, and he clearly was not 100%. No matter how many times he went in and out of the lineup until maybe July, and that's when he started to turn it on and turn things around. So you got Jose, who
Jose's done.
He's done, but I mean, like, great for him that he put up another, 20, I think he's sitting at 22 home runs right now. Like, that's great, good for him. But at the same time, he's going to set the Blue Jays club record for strikeouts.
Actually?
Yeah, he's going to do it.
Yeah?
He's only, I think, 5 away heading into the weekend.
Wait, like all-time strikeouts?
Yeah, I think, I forget who's got the record right now.
You should have came prepared, Howe.
I know. Yeah. I didn't really think that was about to
I would have thought
up.
Justin Smoke would have set the record for that. That guy before this season was just, you'd see him go up to the plate, and I just walked away from the TV. I was like, it's a strikeout. I would have put money down that he was striking out. He was striking out like 50% of the time. Come to think about it, that's not good odds to be betting money on. So good thing I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, your gambling issues.
I don't have gambling issues at all.
Yeah, no, I think your issues that are you don't know how to gamble. That's the problem. So
Let's see the stats from Jose Joey Bats.
Yeah, so he's sitting at 155 strikeouts right now.
Yeah.
What's
the club
and
record?
Club record, I think, was 156, actually.
Come on.
Blue Jays strikeout record. Again, great podcasting. Let's
Fantastic. I'm looking up Jeopardy music.
Yeah, that's cool. I can literally go and throw that in after the fact. Like, you don't need to.
It's not the same.
So okay. Do you think the strikeout number is under 160 or over 160?
It's over 160.
It's actually under 160.
What was it, 150? Was it the number that you just said?
It was 159.
Oh.
So he's 4 away from tying Kelly Johnson and Jose Canseco.
Kelly Johnson. Remember him?
Yeah.
Aaron Hill for Kelly Johnson. Who else didn't they give up John McDonald in that trade too?
Dude, I don't know.
I think it was John McDonald, Aaron Hill for Kelly Johnson.
God, I don't even want to think
Guy
about
was
some
a
of the
second
moves.
baseman, couldn't hit the ball. Then he was a left fielder for the Mets, I think, after that.
I don't know.
Wow.
There's sometimes
Craziness.
there was a stretch in Toronto sports where you looked at it didn't matter if it was the Raptors or the Blue Jays or the Argos or as the Leafs. Every team was just making unbelievable moves that you could not believe what they were doing. But anyways, circling back, let's again with the attention span of a gnat over here, both of us.
Yeah.
So Joey Bats 4 strikeouts away from tying the Blue Jays record.
I think he does it. I think Joey Bats sets one more record on the way out.
One
more
more
record. I believe in you, Joey.
But he's still got to be a Blue Jays Hall of Famer though, or Row of Honor.
Oh yeah, he's definitely top 10 all time Blue Jays.
That's
For what he did,
sucks.
like the bat flip, that's
bat flip
iconic.
heard around the world.
Yeah, that's iconic. Just released like all the anger and angst. I don't even know what that word means. Just all like
you just skipped your teenage years. You just went
Yeah.
from being like a middle schooler straight to a 50-year-old man.
Yeah, basically.
That's why you don't understand what angst
Basically,
is.
a relief of the entire city of Toronto and Canada, for that matter, for the last
That inning.
20 years, just with that bat flip. It was just like throwing
Yeah,
all
the
that
20
pain
years,
out.
but even that inning, like, you got to remember, that game was very controversial, and you had just disaster plays happening. But
Yeah, no, that was crazy. Like, who would have thought that Elvis Andrews would have, what, 3 errors basically that inning?
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Or how about Martin just tossing the ball off the guy's bat?
Yeah.
That
Shin Shu Chu, was it?
Yeah, I think it was off Shin Chu Chu's bat.
Yeah. Oh, craziness.
Oh, just unbelievable. I guess you know what? We're almost at the 50-minute mark.
You want to do your...
Should we do the Motorsport Minute?
The Motorsport Minute. I got
All
the
right.
timer all set and ready.
Okay, so how this is going to work is each week, me being the big racing guy that I am, I'm going to try to touch on as many racing topics as I can in a little pit stop in the podcast I like to call the Motorsport Minute. This week, we're going to be rather NASCAR heavy, so if you're a fan of any other motorsport, you can just rip us a new one on Twitter. I fully encourage it. I want to know what you guys are watching, what series you guys are watching, what drivers you guys are tracking. Let us know at the End to End podcast on Twitter. That again is end with the number 2 end. And yeah, you ready to start this?
Oh, I'm ready.
You got a nice little alarm to make me panic at the end?
I don't know what alarm it's going to be. It might be the one I wake up to. It might not be. I don't know.
Let's just hope it's not offensive. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
Wait.
You give me a countdown and we'll go.
Wait. What do you mean by not offensive?
I don't know. What do you wake up to in the morning? Like some people like have like get the out of bed and shit like that.
Oh, no. I don't know how to download stuff off the internet. I just have to.
Again, this is where Moss is the 50-year-old man of the podcast. I'm just a couple years behind him at 45.
But I pay for Netflix so I don't have to download stuff. I'll pay the money for it, just so I don't have to put the work in. It's consumerism at its finest. Okay.
Some might call that laziness, but
consumerism.
Well, it's all good.
Okay, so in 5, 4. That's the car pulling into like the pit stop. And go.
Okay, so heading into the weekend in Chicagoland, NASCAR playoffs kicking off this year. Let's see if I can even name all 16 drivers that are in it right now. We got Truex, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson. There's no way I'm getting through all 16. Anyways, notables that missed it: Joey Logano after that encumbered win. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his final year misses out on the playoffs. It happens. Let's move on to some silly season news with NASCAR. Danica Patrick, big news this week, out of the 10 car at Stewart-Haas Racing. She will be replaced by a driver yet to be named, but we do know that Smithfield Foods, who was formerly with Richard Petty Motorsports on the famous 43 car, has jumped and bailed on the RPM the RPM entry to get to Stewart-Haas Racing and sponsor the 10 car with, again, a driver yet to be named.
Hey, it works. That's what I wake up to in the morning. That's
Okay, that was
one of my alarms.
That wasn't bad.
How do I turn it off?
Um,
I'm joking, at least. Oh, shit.
and honorable mentions to...
No, you're done. That's just silly. Don't keep going.
Okay, fine.
I thought that was a pretty good one.
I thought I covered a lot in there. I mean...
I was talking about my silly pun.
Oh, because of the silly season.
Season, yeah.
Ha, ha, ha. Oh, God. All right.
That was a bad one.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm cut.
Yeah. All right. Somebody get Johnny Bird on the phone. I think we're looking for a new podcast host.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's left on the docket?
What's next here? What do we got here? NBA?
Yeah, we got to talk about the NBA again.
Yeah.
Another kind of quiet thing happening right now. They're getting ready to go, I guess.
But I don't really think it's a question. This is the NBA. I think it kind of sucks right now, because
what's the fun in a league that you know how it's gonna end?
Yeah.
Every time.
There's
2 teams that have a legitimate chance of winning the title.
Yeah. It's like watching a movie, and at the start of the movie, they tell you who dies at the end, and then they say, "Let's find out how we got there." I don't really care.
Yeah.
I know who wins. Obviously, the Warriors are gonna win.
Well, again, I don't think it's obvious.
I'm pretty sure it's obvious.
I don't think the trade that Cleveland made with Boston helps them or hurts them against the Warriors. I don't think they're. It's kind of up to LeBron. That first or was it? I guess the second time they played in the finals when the Cavs actually beat the Warriors. That was on LeBron. LeBron literally put on one of the most dominating performances we've ever seen in the NBA to win that series.
That's the thing about the NBA. Like one guy, literally, you may as well just pay one guy as much money as he wants and fill the rest of your team up with just plugs. It doesn't matter who they just give person
as long
X
as they
the
can get the ball.
Literally just pass them the ball and try to play defense.
Yeah,
He'll figure the rest out. Like
LeBron really is just. It's just unbelievable. He's just a monster. But,
like
how
Russell Westbrook.
stacked are the Warriors though? Like, if we're gonna we gotta touch on Sports Illustrated's top 100 players in the game right now for the NBA, and obviously LeBron's first overall. But then you look at 2-3, they're both Warriors players, and Durant at 2 and Steph Curry at 3. How is the guy at number 1 in the league supposed to contain the second and third best player in the game playing him against him?
Yeah, and especially now that they traded for Isaiah Thomas, the guy who doesn't know how to play defense. I don't even think he's like I have my own basket to defend. I thought we just put balls in the other basket. I had to play defense. Nobody else does that. Steph Curry's gonna torch him.
I mean,
it's not even gonna be funny to watch. It's gonna be embarrassing. I'm gonna feel bad.
I think it's the size. It's the size of losing a guy like Kyrie,
who wasn't great defensively, but he was big enough to
be in the way.
To figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. For a guy who we're worried about his health even at this point. When there was talk this trade wasn't going to go through because he wasn't going to pass his physical, but I mean. But anyways, we're talking about the top 100 list from Sports Illustrated, and we obviously named the top 3. Let's go through 4 through 10 with Kawhi Leonard coming in at 4 for the Spurs. Number 5, James Harden with the Rockets. 6, Russell Westbrook, Thunder. To be honest, I think I would have put Westbrook. Westbrook probably would have been my number 4 this year anyways. I mean...
Over Kawhi?
Yeah, Westbrook just is unbelievable. I guess it's a case of maybe he doesn't have the best supporting cast around him, so he's doing a lot of stuff on his own, and that's why he's got the numbers to say.
I feel like he was kind of he was just bumping up his numbers. He was really trying to get assists there, fourth quarters of games. He was really just passing the ball off.
Yeah.
Just trying to get those triple doubles, but then you got 7, Chris Paul. Now he's moving over to the Rockets, so he's playing with James Harden there, so that's going to be
It's going to be interesting to see how those two work out.
Yeah,
but
James Harden, he had switched over to point guard, right, for most of the season.
I just don't have a lot of faith in them against. They still aren't going to stack up against the Warriors, I don't think.
Oh, no, they just fire from threes and just...
Maybe they force it to 6 games if they met in the conference final.
Yeah, maybe they
could
win one game and see go from there, right?
Yeah, you never know.
Anthony Davis Injuries is just a behemoth at 8. He's just massive.
The unibrow.
Just massive there for New Orleans.
All right, do you want to give number 9? Okay, so yeah, I'm
Antetokounmpo.
Oh, hey, you can do it. I see. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I could have pronounced Giannis's name, his last name.
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
I think that's how you pronounce it, right?
Antetokounmpo.
I don't know. This guy's gonna win an MVP.
He's the Greek freak.
Point.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Bucks.
6'11".
Just a
he can
monster.
Play point guard.
Just a monster player.
He's a freak.
That's why they call him the Greek freak.
Wait, that's why?
Yeah, he's the Greek freak because his name is Greek, and he's Jesus, you and your sarcasm, get lost.
And then Draymond Green rounds out the top 10, and
I really
hate him. He's on the Warriors, but I don't even think he should be there. But then if you think about who actually is in the next top 10, I feel like Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson. I think rounded out. I think he was 20th.
He was 20th, but he can shoot the ball and he can.
Yeah,
play
I mean, he was a splash
defense.
brother that one season, right?
Yeah.
Him and Curry were just all about the 3 ball, and I guess I don't know. I think Thompson's getting bumped down the pecking order in the Warriors because I think they know he's probably going to be the odd man out with salary cap wise, especially with Durant there.
That's also another thing is the NBA salary cap is just they have a soft cap where you can go over the cap at any point. What's the point of you having a cap? Not at any point. It's only to re-sign your own guys. But still, don't put a cap in place if you can just go over the cap. Well, you just pay a luxury tax on it.
Isn't the MLB the same way?
Yeah, they pay a luxury tax.
They're soft cap. So.
No, there's no cap. There's a luxury tax limit in the Major League Baseball.
Oh, see, that's it.
If you go over I think it's like $220 million in player salary for that season, you get a luxury tax. NBA, they say, oh, we have a salary cap.
Then don't call it a cap.
Yeah, exactly. It's a soft cap. It's the dumbest thing. Like, go with the NHL style and just get a cap. Hard cap. Can't go over it.
Yeah, why not? Why not have some parity? They're always talking about these smaller markets struggling. You want to see those guys start to compete, make it a hard cap.
Exactly.
But with the amount of money that's in the NBA right now and the TV deal, it's just nuts. You need that. I guess let's touch on the Raptors, where some of them showed up on the list. Kyle Lowry coming in at 19 was a surprise for me. Especially
I just found it surprising he was so much higher than DeMar.
See, that's what I say too, because I think DeMar is the better player now.
Although DeMar jumped 10 spots.
Yeah.
I think he was at 46 last year. He's at 36 this year. But still, I feel like
DeMar is another. I think DeMar is another player who gets a little bit forgotten sometimes too in the mainstream media, being up in Canada. I mean, I hate talking about that bias. I think it's stupid. I mean, obviously it clearly works in where when you're in a market you focus on your guys first. But it just drives me nuts that like a guy like DeMar DeRozan can slip through the cracks and be. Is he the 36th best player in the league? I don't think so. I think if we really dissected the list, we could probably bump him up a little bit into the top 30 maybe.
Yeah.
Serge Ibaka coming in 56 again. That's probably about where he's at. I think we maybe have seen the best from Serge. Let's hope that we haven't. Especially with the Raptors re-signing him for another, I believe it's 3-year deal. Yeah. Let's hope that Serge Ibaka is actually going to be trending in the right direction this year and maybe be able to jump up a few spots. And then we got Jonas Valanciunas.
Who I don't know. Yeah. He's there. He's big. And
he just seems like the guy we keep waiting for to break out. We just keep sitting on him, waiting for something.
You know, I feel like he would have been a really good player 20 years ago.
You know,
the game wasn't all 3 balls.
Yeah. It's
not even 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's true. It's
when like a Shaq was playing in the league. Shaq's like kind of a one-off because Shaq.
Shaq was a machine, right? He was the diesel.
Still, like a big man had a purpose. Now it's
if you can't shoot threes, you're done.
Yeah, exactly. Like Serge Ibaka shoots threes, and he's a small.
It's a small big man,
big man, but still like guy can shoot threes and play defense. It's fantastic.
I think obviously we're a few weeks away still from training camp opening up for the Raptors. I don't think I expect the team to take a step back by any means, but I think we may have seen the best that we're going to see out of this team.
Actually,
given the Eastern Conference. Okay, Boston got better.
Yeah.
With Kyrie.
Cleveland got worse.
But they're still got LeBron, so if you get them in the playoffs, barring an injury to LeBron, I don't think Cleveland is going to be stopped.
Yeah.
I am going to really look forward to the Kyrie versus LeBron battle.
Yeah, that would be exciting. But the thing is, though, all you're really doing is seeing who's going to be the maid of honor, because the Warriors are going to win it all.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
You may as well just put money down on the Warriors at this point in the year. And just take your $10 or whatever you're winning on $1,000 because everybody knows it's going to be the Warriors winning. And just
what Vegas has probably got them at like 2-1 right now.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, it may even be like even worse than 2-1 odds, but
like it's crazy how
there's just no parity. There's no chance. And I don't really have a solution. Yeah, we talked about, the NBA should have a hard cap. But even then, these guys all want to play together. Yeah. Look what LeBron did to get the Heat together, right? To sit there and actually be like, all right, yeah, you want to come play? Let's make the money work and let's put this team together. And with Wade and Bosch and all the other guys they brought in along the way, when you guys, Durant could have gone anywhere, could have gone home.
Yeah, he took a pay cut too to keep staying there
in Golden State. Yeah,
because Steph's getting paid like a lot more than Durant.
I mean, Steph Curry is.
I feel like Durant's a better player.
Yeah, Durant probably is a better player, but I just
best player in the league.
I'm a shooter hugger. I love guys who shoot the 3-ball and
Durant shoots the 3-ball too.
Yeah,
he can also
Curry
go to the rim, like break an arm or two, like friggin' guys.
He is a machine.
Twig, but like whatever.
He's a machine though. He can do it all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. The NBA is they're in a state of I don't know what to make of it.
Disrepair.
Sure.
I don't know if that's the word.
You should just maybe use your dictionary box to figure it out. That's about it. Do you want to touch on anything else in the sports world? Anything crazy you want to talk about in the last minute or so?
Here?
Maybe 5 minutes, whatever.
You know what? Let's see. You know what? The Leafs are playing their training camp here in our home city of Niagara Falls.
Yeah, so if you see Austin Matthews at a bar in St. Catharines, let us know.
Yeah. I think it's...
watch out for that very, very loud lion tattoo on his shoulder.
Can he even get into a bar? Is he 19 yet?
Oh, yeah, he's 19.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he had a late birthday.
An early birthday?
No, he was late. Because he missed the McDavid draft by 2 days.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Austin Matthews. I don't know. I think he's
19.
I don't know.
For sure.
I don't know. If you see him at a bar, ID him because he's pretty close. He's
okay, maybe give him Marner.
Or get him to buy you the beer. He's getting paid.
His second year. He's got to be 19 by now.
He's 19.
Yeah, see, I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm on top of this.
Marner's 20?
Yeah, well, he got drafted the year before.
Looks like he's 2.
What do you want from the guy?
Looks like a rodent.
He's just permanently... I don't know. He's going to have boyish looks for most of his life.
Well.
He's got the Patrick Kane syndrome. He's going to be a small player who's just super effective. And
yeah, as long as he doesn't hit any cabbies.
Yeah. well, stay out of Buffalo. I mean...
Okay,
it's a bad place to go.
Are actually really bad. I went drinking in Buffalo once.
Okay, here comes a Moss story. Love it. Let's go.
And
let's end it off with a Moss story.
The cabbie was the worst thing ever. It wasn't a real cab.
Okay.
One, didn't set the meter. Said, "Oh, I'll do it for this price." Gets there, tells us a different price, so we just hop out of the cab. But well, no, it wasn't an actual cab driver. We talked to another cabbie after. He's like, "Oh yeah, if he didn't set the meter, he's not an actual cab driver." And we're like, "Oh, okay," because they have their meters unplugged or whatever. I don't know. Guy was a weirdo. So, yeah, that's that. Patrick Kane might have had that cab driver.
All right, thanks for that enlightenment.
Yeah, no problem, Hal.
All right.
And that's going to be the end of the podcast here. Follow us on Twitter, End Podcast. Put us on any interesting tweets you see and that you want us to talk about it. We want to talk about what you guys want to listen to. So don't be afraid to use us in the mentions. We'll respond, not right away. We'll try to respond as quickly as possible. If you guys do want to have conversations. Howe is running like a madman to get his laptop plugged in. The thing has a 10-minute battery life.
Woo! Saved it.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, where's the headphones?
Yours are on the ground.
Oh, this is just...
So that's the end of the podcast. Like I said, follow us on Twitter. I've been Eric Moss.
Jonathon Howe here. You can follow on the personal accounts at jhowe_24 on Twitter.
And at Eric Moss 1818.
And make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We're going to be issuing them on YouTube and SoundCloud and potentially to the iTunes world as well. But I think we're going to start with the YouTube and SoundCloud world. So make sure you subscribe, follow along on Twitter, and we look forward to more great podcasts coming up. This is just the beginning of sports, really. Big year 2018 season.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
This has been the End to End Podcast. We'll see you on the other end.